Gordy called it the worst thing he'd ever heard and refused to release it.
Picket lines, picket signs.
A ballad that sat unreleased for 3 years until a Clint Eastwood film forced the label's hand. And spoken word poetry so radical radio rejected it, but it spread underground and changed music anyway.
Me? Refresh my memory.
At number 1, the song that took 100 hours to record because the artist kept singing it wrong. Here's what the industry didn't want you to hear. Number 12, Uptown by Prince. Warner Brothers executives were scared to death when they heard the Dirty Mind album this track included, because they thought they'd signed the next Stevie Wonder, not a cross between Wonder and Johnny Rotten. Funky guitar riffs punch through layers of synthesizers, while Prince's falsetto floats between genders and genres, creating something nobody had categorized yet. The entire album, minimal production, sexually explicit lyrics, genre defiance, made executives panic about radio blacklisting. It peaked at number 5 R&B, became a cult classic, and established Prince as an artist who would never play by industry rules. Warner Brothers top executives Mo Austin and Lenny Waronker ultimately backed him despite the fear, and the album released unchanged. This was the sound blasting from car stereos when you realized pop music had just been reinvented by someone who refused to pick a lane. While Prince merged funk and new wave into something unrecognizable, the next artist proved simplicity could terrify executives just as much. Number 11, Let's Stay Together by Al Green. Producer Willie Mitchell spent over 100 hours recording this because Al Green kept singing it wrong. Not technically wrong, emotionally wrong. Green's voice glides like honey over sparse instrumentation, bass and drums creating space instead of filling it, horns punctuating rather than dominating. Mitchell kept saying, "Don't try to handle the song, just let it happen, let it ooze out." He wanted Green to stop imitating Jackie Wilson and Sam Cooke and just be himself. The song hit number 1 on the Hot 100 for 2 weeks, topped the R&B chart for 9 weeks, and turned soul music away from the shouting style of the 60s towards something softer and more intimate. Mitchell's less is more approach defied the era's bigger is better production philosophy. This was playing on late night radio when you needed to hear what love sounds like when it stops performing and starts confessing. I just came to see. From that intimate restraint to orchestral audacity, the next track made executives question whether a film theme could really work as a single.
You know what breaks my heart a little? Only 1% of the people who watch R&B vinyl are actually subscribed. 99 out of 100 of you keep coming back, vibing with the grooves, feeling the stories, reliving the voices that built soul itself, but you still haven't hit that button. Think about it. You've spent time here, maybe even rediscovered a song that hit you right in the chest, and yet you're walking away before the next track drops. Subscribing costs nothing, not a cent, but it means you'll never miss the moments that remind you who you were when that record first played. R&B vinyl isn't just music, It's memory, it's heritage. It's the pulse that still beats under everything we love. Don't just listen from the sidelines. Be part of the 1% who keep the soul alive. Hit subscribe, stay, groove, and keep the record spinning with us.
Number 10, Theme from Shaft by Isaac Hayes. A 7-minute blaxploitation film theme that wasn't intended to be a single until nightclubs made it unavoidable and forced the label's hand.
It's too hot, man.
That signature wah-wah guitar riff cuts through strings and horns while Hayes delivers spoken word swagger about a bad mother who's a sex machine to all the chicks.
When there's danger all around.
The song opens with a 2-minute 43-second instrumental section, one of the longest in chart history, defying every radio programming convention. It hit number 1 Hot 100 for 2 weeks, won the Oscar for Best Original Song, making Hayes the first African American to win an Academy Award in a non-acting category. Though the Academy initially tried to disqualify it because Hayes couldn't read music. The double album became Stax Records' best-selling LP ever. This was blasting from basement parties when blaxploitation wasn't a genre yet, just a sound nobody knew they needed.
Who is a man that would risk his neck for his brother?
While Hayes expanded soul into cinematic territory, the next group proved you could strip everything down and still dominate. Number 9, Fight the Power by the Isley Brothers. Radio programmers saw the title and expected militant confrontation, but the Isleys had something more universal in mind. And executives barely resisted because the power could mean anything. Funky guitar riff spirals and climbs, while vocals shift between smooth harmonies and raw intensity, creating tension that refuses easy resolution. The only documented censorship was bleeping the word bullshit for radio. Everything else stayed intact because the Isleys controlled their own sound. It reached number 1 R&B for 3 weeks, hit number 4 pop, went gold, and became Billboard's number 1 R&B single of 1975 despite initial programmer hesitation. Marvin Isley later confirmed they met hardly any resistance because the song's message transcended specific politics. This was the song playing when you realize protest doesn't always need to shout. Sometimes it just needs to groove until the point becomes unavoidable. From that calculated ambiguity to uncompromising specificity, the next track made racial injustice impossible to ignore. Still with us? Tell us which track surprised you most so far. Number 8, Living for the City by Stevie Wonder. Motown had zero control over this because Wonder had renegotiated complete creative freedom by 1971. So when he wanted a spoken word arrest scene with real police officers using racial slurs, nobody could stop him. Synthesizer bass line pulses like urban heartbeat, while layered vocals build a narrative arc that moves from hope to entrapment to rage. Wonder deliberately recruited actual police officers for authenticity, and they improvised the N-word line, which pleased him immensely because it captured systemic reality. The song hit number 1 R&B, reached number 8 pop, won the 1974 Grammy for Best R&B Song, and became one of Intervision's most acclaimed tracks. Radio stations, not Motown, edited the dialogue, likely due to the slur, but the album version stayed uncompromised. This was playing when you drove through your city and suddenly heard your own neighborhood story told without apology or softening. While Wonder used spoken realism to jar listeners, the next artist weaponized poetry to wake them up entirely. Number 7. The Revolution Will Not Be Televised by Gil Scott-Heron.
Something that you see and all of a sudden you realize I'm on the wrong page. Or I'm on the right.
Labels had no idea how to market spoken word poetry with jazz backing, and radio stations rejected it outright. So it spread anyway through live performances, campus coffee shops, and underground press.
The revolution will not be televised. That was about the fact that the first change that takes place is in your mind.
Scott-Heron's voice cuts through sparse percussion and bass like a sermon delivered from the edge of patience, listing everything the coming revolution won't be. No commercial breaks, no instant replay, no rerun.
In the 90s? Well, you know, the catchphrase, what that was all about.
Flying Dutchman Records released it on his 1970 debut album Small Talk at 125th and Lenox, but it gained traction through word of mouth in black neighborhoods rather than airplay.
So when we said that the revolution would not be televised, we were saying that that
the song never charted but became one of the most influential recordings of the decade, added to the National Recording Registry in 2002, and laid groundwork for hip-hop's political consciousness.
Something that you see and all of a sudden you realize I'm on the wrong page. Or I'm on the right.
The better-known full band version appeared in 1971. This was playing in college dorm rooms when you realized music didn't need melody to move you, just truth delivered with rhythmic precision.
The revolution will not be televised. That was about the fact that the first change that takes place is in your mind.
From poetry that bypassed radio to a ballad radio couldn't resist once Hollywood intervened, timing made all the difference.
We're the ones who marched, we're the ones who carried the Bible, we're the ones who carried the flag, we're the ones who...
Number 6, The First Time Ever, I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack. Producer Joel Dorn wanted to re-record it with a faster tempo and lyric edit to trim the 5-minute, 22-second runtime. Flack refused and asked if he cared whether it became a hit, to which she replied, "No, sir." Her voice moves like slow tide over minimal arrangement, piano and guitar creating space for every sustained note to breathe and resonate. The song appeared on her June 1969 debut album, First Take, but never released as a single because Atlantic Records saw no commercial potential in something so sparse and patient. Then Clint Eastwood used it in Play Misty for Me in 1971, forcing a February 1972 single release that hit number 1 Hot 100 for 6 weeks and became Billboard's number 1 song of 1972. Sometimes defying expectations means waiting 3 years for the world to catch up. This was playing when you slow danced with someone who mattered and time stopped moving at normal speed. While Flack proved patience could pay off posthumously, the next artist paid immediately for refusing to stay quiet. Number 5, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud by James Brown.
Take 2 eyes to make a pair. Brother, we can't quit.
Los Angeles black radio station KGFJ refused to play it, so Brown took out 2 full-page ads in the Los Angeles Sentinel, openly challenging their decision and daring them to explain why. Horn stabs punctuate a chant that turns self-affirmation into collective declaration, kids shouting the chorus like playground revolution channeled through studio magic.
We're tired of beating our heads against the wall and working for someone else.
Brown recorded it with actual children from his band members' families, capturing raw exuberance that polished vocalists couldn't fake. The song hit #1 R&B for 6 weeks, reached #10 pop despite selective radio resistance, but Brown later wrote, "The song cost me a lot of my crossover audience. The racial makeup at my concerts was mostly black after that." No evidence exists of threats to King Records, but the commercial sacrifice was real and documented. This was blasting from car windows when pride stopped being quiet and started demanding recognition. From that unapologetic declaration to systematic exclusion, the next song faced bans that couldn't stop its cultural impact. Real heads are still watching. Drop your top 3 below and let's compare notes.
Until we get our share. Say it loud.
#4, We're a Winner by Curtis Mayfield. Radio stations across America were pressured not to play it, and some refused outright because black pride messaging during civil rights era urban unrest made programmers nervous about advertiser backlash. Mayfield's falsetto soars over driving rhythm section and gospel-influenced horns, delivering affirmation that sounds like church service meets street corner rally. Producer Johnny Pate required removing references to Martin Luther King Jr. and Uncle Tom from original lyrics. Pate confirmed there was no way those lyrics could go in the studio version in 1967. The song still reached #1 R&B in March 1968 and hit #14 pop, proving audiences wanted exactly what radio feared. Mayfield later confirmed it damaged his commercial momentum, but cemented his legacy as an artist who wouldn't compromise message for market. This was playing in basements and black-owned businesses when you realized soul music could be both beautiful and revolutionary without choosing between them. While Mayfield faced pressure to soften his message, the next artist refused to record hers at all for years. #3, Mississippi Goddamn by Nina Simone.
Tennessee made me lose my rest, and everybody knows.
Radio stations in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi literally broke the record in half and mailed it back to RCA.
Mississippi gone down.
Simone testified on The Steve Allen Show in 1964 that they'd received multiple packages of shattered vinyl with notes calling it bad taste.
Me and my people just about do.
Her voice moves between cabaret playfulness and barely contained rage, piano and horns, supporting a lyric that lists every broken promise and hypocritical platitude about racial progress.
All I want is equality for my sister, my...
The song was written in response to Medgar Evers' assassination and the Birmingham church bombing that killed 4 black girls. And the title alone, using Goddamn in 1964, guaranteed Southern bans.
Alabama's got me so upset.
The song never charted because distribution was curtailed by regional bans, and Simone later stated in Jet magazine that this hurt her career the worst of all her protest songs.
Don't tell me, I'll tell.
RCA executives feared backlash, but released it anyway on the Nina Simone In Concert album.
My country is full of lies. We all gonna.
This was playing in northern living rooms when you needed to hear someone say what polite society refused to acknowledge.
Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made.
From that controlled fury to complete creative shutdown, the next artist's standoff with Motown became legendary.
That's just the trouble.
Number 2, Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
The label initially released it as a B-side because reps didn't see the song's promise. But the story about executives objecting to the I know repetition is backwards. Producer Booker T. Jones encouraged Withers to keep it exactly as written. Withers' voice cycles through 26 repetitions of I know over spare guitar and drums, creating hypnotic meditation in an absence that feels like obsessive thought patterns made audible. Withers intended to write actual lyrics for that section, but deferred to Jones and the experienced session musicians who said, "Leave it like that," because they heard something he couldn't yet see.
This house just ain't no home anytime she
The song reached number 3 pop, hit number 6 R&B, won the 1972 Grammy for Best R&B Song, and became one of the most covered tracks in soul history.
anytime she goes away.
Sometimes defying expectations means trusting collaborators over your own doubts.
She's gone to stay.
This was playing through headphones on rainy afternoons when loneliness needed a voice that understood without explaining.
Anytime she goes away.
While Withers accidentally created perfection, the next artist deliberately orchestrated confrontation.
Ain't no sunshine when she.
Number 1, What's Going On by Marvin Gaye.
Of you dying, you know
Berry Gordy called it the worst thing I ever heard in my life and told Gaye, "Why do you want to ruin your career?" Because it was too political, too jazzy, and nothing like the Motown hit Factory Formula Gordy had perfected.
What's going on? What's going on? Hey.
Gaye's multi-tracked vocals layer like conversation between past and present selves, while strings sweep and saxophone weeps, creating soundscape that feels like standing in the middle of 1970s urban America, asking questions nobody wanted to answer.
People don't punish me with brutality.
Gordy specifically hated the Dizzy Gillespie stuff in the middle, that scatting, it's old, and refused to release it. So Motown executives Harry Balk and Barney Ells pressed 100,000 copies in January 1971 without Gordy's knowledge while Gaye went on strike. It became Motown's fastest selling single. Hit number 1 R&B for 5 weeks, reached number 2 pop, and sold over 2 million copies, forcing Gordy to admit he'd been completely wrong. The entire What's Going On album followed, redefining what socially conscious soul could be. This was the song that made you realize music could ask questions more important than providing answers, that beauty and protest weren't opposites, but partners.
Some loving, oh, yeah, yeah.